Hello, today we are in the literature packet as we look at a poem for reading class. We're going to look at essential question number 1, how do readers know what to mean or what to believe? Essential question number 4, what is literary text really about? And essential question number 6, how does what readers read influence how they should read it? As we look at that, we're going to participate in 3 layers of a close reading. In the first layer of the close reading, we're just going to read through the poem to create an objective summary of the text. Remember, that summary should tie into the plot elements of what's going on with poetry. Sometimes it tells a story and it goes in like a narrative format, and sometimes it just gives a lot of feelings and emotions. In this case, it does have sort of a story flow that it follows. Please write a sentence summary for each stanza. I think it's easy to summarize poetry in a sentence and like to chunk it by the stanzas if that's possible. And for this piece, it definitely is. That would be what we do for our first phase of reading. So after you do a summary of the poem, the next time you read it, I want you to focus in on the structure of the poem. As we look at structure, we are looking at learning target number 10 in the packet. I have a new note for this one. Learning target number 10 is to analyze how a poem's structure contributes to its meaning. So if we look at my new note for this one, we're looking at what some structural elements are. Within this poem, it is not a standard specific type of poem in regards to having a specific name, but it does have a structural element, and that element is end rhyme. End rhyme or rhyme schemes in general are usually determined by the final word in the line. Sometimes you could have like an A, B, A, B. We always use letters to represent the rhyme scheme. So you might have an A, B rhyme scheme where you have that final line rhyming with the third line, and then the B and the D rhyming, but that would be sort of an end rhyme scheme. Sometimes it could be couplets where you go like A, B, B. Remember, each letter I'm saying represents that final line or final word in the line and how it rhymes and which word at the end of a different line it rhymes with. But rhyme scheme does impact a poem. It does so, like if we look at end rhyme impacts the poem by giving it a musical quality. It sort of creates a rhythm, and that rhythm is going to add to the mood of the poem. Remember, when we talk about mood, we're saying that the mood is the feeling the reader, the person who's reading it, gets. It's your emotions as the reader about the atmosphere of the story. Emotions are usually put into words with some sort of a feeling word. So you are going to be looking at the impact the rhyme scheme has on the emotional feel of the reader, of the mood. So I want you to make sure that you're able to think about end rhyme and to think about how it does give it a musical quality and creates a rhythm. And what feeling does it give you as you read it with that end rhyme throughout the poem? And that feeling really does sometimes tie in, that mood will tie in to what's happening in the poem as well as the message of the piece as well. So as we look at that second phase of reading, I am asking you to think about that rhyme scheme. Maybe even decide, is it an A, B rhyme scheme? Is it an A, B rhyme scheme? Or is there another rhyme scheme present that I'm not aware of? And after you determine what the rhyme scheme is, I do want you to think about how the poem makes you feel and what mood the poem gives, and how that rhyme scheme of that quality that the poem has, how does it enhance or impact the mood of the poem? This is a new skill, so it might be a little challenging for you to think about it, but I'm curious to see what you come up with for that one. In the third phase, we are again looking at how elements interact. We're going to look at how the figurative language interacts with the message or theme. So as you read through for that third phase of reading, I want you to find and spot examples of figurative language within the piece. As we look at identifying figurative language, we're looking at learning target number 18. Remember, we have multiple types of figurative language, such as similes, metaphors, hyperboles, personifications, and even symbols. But see what is the most prominent type of figurative language used in the piece and connect it to the message. The message is the theme. which takes us to learning target 3 and 4, to determine what the theme is in a piece and to analyze how that theme develops over the course of that poem. As we do phase 2 and 3 of the reading, we will be connecting multiple elements of a poem. So we are looking at learning target number 6 to analyze how those elements interact. In phase 2, you're looking at how the rhyme scheme interacts with the mood. In phase 3, you're looking at how the figurative language use interacts with the theme or message of the piece. So figure out how those interactions work and the effect that it might have on the piece as a whole. So go ahead and get working on this close reading of the poem.